morning, everyone, and thank you for waking up with me on Up with India. Today, I will be joined by celebrity trainer, coach, and nutritionist DeBlair Tate, who is the owner of eight-figure clothing brand and DeBlair Fitness. DeBlair proudly shares that she is from a small town in Mississippi, but she has made a major impact in the fitness industry abroad. With almost 15 years in the industry, her focus has been to help people achieve their goals while living healthy, successful lives. She joins me on the show now to share more about the work that she does. So happy to have you here, Blair. How are you?
Thank you for joining me. I'm great.
Oh, absolutely. I'm super excited to get into your story. When I was looking into, your bio and just, learning a few things about you, and I saw you were from Mississippi. I said, wait a second. My favorite show right now is P Valley, okay?
Oh my God.
So all I kept saying was M-I, crooked letter, crooked letter.
Yes, and you know what? I want to say this about that. We do not talk like that in Mississippi. No, we don't sound like that. They were like, the show was good, but they took it to a different level with those accents. But hey, I see where they were trying to go with it. But
Right, and I wanted to ask you, I'm like, what is the truth to this now? Is a small town in Mississippi similar to what we're seeing in Tuscaloosa, Mississippi on P Valley, or is it just not that?
I will say we do have some cities like that. We have some small towns. So the concept, the whole foundation was kind of on point, because we have some crazy names like what was it, Chuckalisa, or yeah, something like that. We have crazy names, so they were pretty on point with that.
Oh my goodness, that show was so crazy. When I seen that, I said, "Well, I have to bring it up. Gotta ask her." But talk to me. Where are you originally from? What's the small town that you come from?
It's called Winona, Mississippi. It's a really, really small town. It's about, I want to say we may have 5,000 people. I haven't checked the population lately,
Yeah.
but I know we had, about 4 to 5,000 people. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone is pretty much family. And it's just one of those towns where your guards are down, you leave your front door open. It's just like that. So
Yeah, definitely a different world. A community that a lot of people sometimes often wish that they had, because it almost is like that village. Everybody's kind of taking accountability for each other. But talk to me about growing up, Blair, when you were growing up in Mississippi before you ended up leaving. Talk to me about growing up and what that time there taught you as a young woman and prepared you for the career that you're in today.
Well, it was all I knew. So it was just basically looking back, it just showed me that I didn't know as much as I needed to know as it related to health and fitness and things like that. And nothing wrong with it, because I was a product of my environment, and I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? It's like it wasn't a lot of conversation about eating healthy, because we ate good, and that's what we wanted to do. And we look forward to eating good, and that's just what it was. Like, we had our favorite fast food restaurant, we had our favorite meals that your mom and your grandmother cooked, or your friend's mom. You went over this person's house, what you cooking today, and that was it. And that was the life. And even now, when I go home, I look forward to those type of meals. Although my body rejects a lot of that stuff, and my eating has changed like 80% from what how I used to eat growing up. And it's only because I'm trying to make sure I'm maintaining a healthy life for myself, because, we have certain medical conditions or whatever that you need to maintain to be healthy. So to each his own or whatever, but I still try to educate people, especially people back home, on what it looks like you can still eat some of the stuff that we grew up eating, but everything should be done with moderation, because it does get to the point where it starts affecting your body, your cholesterol level, like your heart rate, heart disease and everything like that. If you put too much of that stuff in your body, it's not good for you. So I just kind of try to educate people on that.
What are some of those guilty pleasures that you grew up eating that you're just like, I can't do it anymore, I got to change my life?
Today,
Back then, way back then.
Oh, girl, I'm gonna tell you something, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, disgusting." Okay, so when I used to go home, I used to make phone calls in advance for Thanksgiving and say, "Hey, are you cooking chitlins?"
No.
Yes, I used to be like, I had to have my chitterlings. We call them chitlins, so you call them chitterlings or chitlins, and I had my mom or my friend, her mom, she's passed away now. She would call me, "Hey, mom, making chitlins. She got yours to the side," and I'm like, "Yes, that was my guilty pleasure." Oh my God, that pork, it with ketchup. That's yes.
What?
That was my guilty pleasure back in the days. That was my thing. So I know I look back at it now and I'm like, oh my God, how in the world was I even eating that? But I can't believe you asked me that and I just said that. But
Listen, sometimes you just gotta keep it all the way real. Look, I used to eat chitlins.
I do not regret it because it was good. When I was eating it, it made my day. I look forward to it.
Oh,
So
God. I don't know if I could go that far now.
have you ever tried them?
I never tried it, but the smell itself, I was good on that. You know,
You can't go off the smell. So if you try, like, the smell is horrible. You can't be in the kitchen while it's cooking. You can't watch anybody cooking because you're like, are you cleaning that good? Like,
right.
you just gotta enjoy it. You just gotta enjoy it. So,
You know, maybe one day I'll take a little nibble. I'll test it out. But
I'm not encouraging that right now, but
I was about to say that, but you're telling me you shouldn't be eating that. So
no.
listen, eventually you were able to transition out of Mississippi. Where did life take you after you decided to leave high school and go on to the next chapter in your life?
So I left high school and went to college. So I actually wanted to go to the military, but my family wanted something different. They were like, I guess I was like the baby, and they wanted me to go to a college up the street, which was like about an hour from my house, my city, because my cousins now were there. So I had some people that already was there. So I went to college for a short period of time, and then I went to the military.
You still did what you wanted to do.
I did what they wanted me to do. They didn't say, don't ever do it. They just said they wanted me to go to college. Okay, college, check that box off. So now let me do something I wanted to do. So I went to the military, but I only went in part-time. I left for like a semester in the summer, and I went to the whole basic training thing, and I came back. And I was only doing part-time in the military, which we call the reserve at the time. So I would do 2 weeks out of a year, and I would do like my weekend duty like once a month, but I was still full-time in college. So I was still able to graduate from college on time while still serving in the military. And later after college, I ended up, going active duty into the military.
Now, did you find your passion for fitness while you were in basic training, or did you always have a love for fitness since you were growing up? Because I know it's intense. The basic training is very, very intense getting you prepared. But talk to me about when you learned that this was for you.
So I didn't learn it was for me. I knew I loved doing, I'm an athlete. So throughout high school, junior high, whatever, I played sports. I played all the sports, the softball, I ran track, played basketball. Even into college, I played softball a little bit. And even after that, I was into intramural stuff. And I'm a sporty person. I'm an athletic person. But I didn't really get into fitness as being a thing until after I had graduated for college, after I had went active duty, because I went to the coast and then came to Atlanta. And that's when the journey kind of started, because when I moved to Atlanta, I started working part-time in a fitness facility. And then I was introduced to the competition world. So I wasn't introduced into health and fitness right away. I was introduced through somebody approaching me, asking me if I was interested in doing fitness competitions. And that's where my journey for fitness began.
And so that was in 2006 when you competed in your first fitness competition, correct?
Right. My competition was in 2006. I started training in like 2005 for the show, and it rolled over. And 2006 was when I did my first competition.
And what competition was that?
It was a figure. Well, I wasn't professional at the time. It was figure So you have the bikini competition, you have a figure category, and you have the bodybuilding category. So the organization was SNBF. So it was just all natural because you have different organizations. Some are natural, some are not natural. When I mean natural, it means some people take additional supplements to enhance their bodies, but this organization was a natural organization that did drug testing and all that stuff. So it was that. So it was a figure, so we look more like the athletes, like more athletic build, because the bikini models are more like the Victoria's Secret type models, and then the bodybuilders are more like the muscular,
Right.
like I'm gonna punch you in the face if you say something to me type. So
Okay. And so when you were competing in that competition, talk to me about some of the things that were running through your mind personally. This was your first time doing this. What were you hoping to get out of this experience?
I don't know because it was my first time doing it. I just knew I didn't develop the love or understanding for it until I got in the actual like world of it, because I was introduced. And at first I said no, I didn't want to compete because I didn't want to look like a man or whatever. That's what I categorize it as. But the ladies that were training for it, that was at the gym, like that was the world they were in, so it became fun. So once I started competing and I made professional, so you compete initially at an amateur level. So when you're competing on the amateur level, you're just basically trying to make pro, because once you compete on a pro level, you're able to start competing for like endorsement. People start noticing you, like magazines, you start competing for money, things like that. So at first I was just doing it like, okay, let me just see if I can be disciplined enough to do this. So my first show, I won the competition, believe it or not. Yeah. So I made pro my first show, which I was totally shocked. Was not looking for that. I worked hard, I did, but I wasn't expecting to win. Maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe it was just my day, but I started competing for pro after that. So from there, it was just all about the journey. You know what I mean? It was almost like I'm a very competitive person. I'll compete with you against anything. Like we could be going to the mailbox. I'll be like, let's race to the mailbox, something like that. So I have that competitive nature in me anyway. So after that is more so just trying to see where you can go with this. It became almost like a career. Like where can I get with this fitness thing or whatever? And then it stopped being about me throughout the journey and started being about how can I help others, because people were approaching me asking me, hey, what do you do? Like, I want to look like you. Are you a trainer? Can you help me? What do you eat? So that opened up the whole world for me as far as like being able to not only like enjoy what I do, but now I'm able to affect the lives of others by helping them through my discipline.
Sure. And you brought up a very strong point that a lot of women make when they see women in fitness competitions. They always say, I don't want to be that defined. I don't want to look like a man. They have all of these different stereotypes. How have you worked to help break down some of those stereotypes that women believe if they start to, lift a little weight, that they're going to somehow turn into the opposite sex? How have you broken down some of those for them?
It's definitely about you, because some people do take it to a degree where they look, everybody is different. It just depends on what you want to look like. And it depends on how deep you're into the fitness world, because once you start competing and you're getting up there on the pro levels and competing on national levels and things like that, some women, they do start looking a little more defined. It's still to me not like manly, but to some people that may be too much. Even now, I get judged when I was competing. They were like, "Oh, well, you're too muscular." I didn't feel that way. I didn't let what people said affect me and what I was trying to do, because I still looked in the mirror and I didn't feel like I was like manly looking. I was muscular. It was a point where I did personally feel that when I put on dresses that my shoulders and stuff was too defined and too broad, but that was just me personally or whatever. And I wasn't even in season, because you have an off season and you have an on season. But it's going to be about how you want to look. And if you're serious about the competition world and that's just your thing, and you don't look like that all the time, it's only when you're in the off season, in the on season, that you look like that. Because even when I'm on stage, it takes me a week to get my body to look like that. Well, prior to, I'm training for 8 to 16 weeks, however long it takes. And then the week of is detrimental because now you're basically depleting your body, water, carb depleting, whatever your cycle is, to look a certain way on stage. And as soon as you get off stage and you go home and you eat something, your body is going to soften up just like that. So it just depends. Some people, you might not like muscles. You might just want to, you do the cardio and just do a little pump or whatever, but you're not going to just look manly unless you take, in my opinion, unless you just take something or your body is naturally built like that, but you can control it.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you go through in preparation for training yourself or training someone else?
Well, the discipline, those are the biggest challenges because it depends if you're talking about just training somebody to just be healthy versus training somebody for a show. Those are two separate conversations.
You do
But
both.
okay, yeah. So with training somebody for, because I train people for shows as well. Because when I stopped competing, I started training competitors, but at the same time, I was still training people that just wanted to live a healthy life. But the biggest part, I'll say, with the training competitors is you're in a different world and you can't do what everybody else is doing. So you have to sacrifice sometimes your social life. You have to make sure you're on point with your eating, your discipline. You can't procrastinate as it relates to eating your meals, going to the gym, making sure you're on point with like your posing coaches. It's a sport. It's a sport, so it takes a lot. And even for just training to be healthy, period, it's still the struggle with, like I tell people, I do a 6-week fitness challenge and I coach people in that. And the biggest thing is craving the things that your body is used to, because I basically detox you from what your body is telling you that it needs. Your body doesn't need that. That's just what you're used to giving it, and it's craving it. It's almost like being in drug rehab.
Wow.
Your body is craving what you've been satisfying it with. Because if you feel like you want something, you want to eat, you have a sweet tooth craving, you're going to go do it, right? But if you're trying to change and detox, that's just your mind telling you, hey, this is what you need to give me. But it's only because that's what you've been used to. So you have to basically cleanse your body. So the working out and the training, unless you have a very rigorous schedule, it's not the hardest part. It's more so the diet, the eating, that's hardest for people.
So you've somehow made a career out of this whole thing. Your parents sent you to college to do one thing, and now you're in
That's another thing, right?
all of this. Are they proud of you? Do you have support in making this transition? What is life like for you now?
I do have support. I have support from like friends, just my family, like my significant other. Everybody is just so supportive of everything I do. It is the hardest part though is balancing everything, I will say, because you do have that support, but at the end of the day, you have to learn how to balance it with like your family life and your social life and things like that, because it can get to the point where it consumes you and that you're basically just doing that all the time, and you wake up and your day is gone, because you're just basically pouring into everybody else. But the support from, like, I couldn't have done anything without the backing and the support that I have from my hometown, my family, like my significant other, my mom, just everybody. So the support definitely is there.
That's amazing, and I'm sure that has carried you on to help you develop other projects. So let's talk about the eight-figured brand. That is your baby. Introduce
Yes.
us to the world and give us some more understanding on why you started.
So yes, eight figure brand is my baby, and it came about. So the meaning behind eight figure came from my years in training. I've been in the training fitness coaching world for about 16 years, and throughout that whole time, I've come encounter with different people, and you get to your clients and stuff. You become like friends with them, and they become very close to you, and they share their stories, and you learn a lot of people don't have self love. A lot of people are depressed. They come to you wanting to be better, but at the end of the day, mentally they're not there because they're like not loving who they are. They're looking for social acceptance or going on social media, seeing this body type and wanting to compare themselves to that person, and just basically not being able to complete anything, no transformation for themselves because they're so caught up in this is not happening fast enough, or I'm not getting enough attention from this person because my body doesn't look like that. So I built my brand around trying to have a meaning about self-love and self-acceptance. It means engineering the body that you have. Eight figure means loving yourself and learning how to accept who you are and not looking for social acceptance. And I wanted you to feel good wearing my stuff. I wanted you to know that it's for everybody. No matter what your body type is, you're beautiful and unique in yourself. So represent who you are, look good, because I have, if you want tank tops, sports bras, whatever your comfort zone is, you can get up and rock it and feel good about it. So that's where the whole meaning came from. And it was just a spin-off on what I experienced. And I wanted to still pour back into the health and fitness community.
And earlier this week, you launched your new collection, your eight figure brand. So let's talk a little bit about that and what kind of went into the process in developing the new line.
Yes, so the line launched. I'm so excited about it. It's the second one. I'll be a year old in December. And all of the items, I'm the designer. It's me and one other person. So the designs are created in-house. So everything that you see, they're made on our computers. They're not like, and that's the best thing about it. It's kind of like they're my creation. You're not going to go out there, and that separates me from everybody else. You're not going to go out there and go to a site and you see the same things on there. So I have a uniqueness about it because I wanted people to accept the uniqueness about themselves. So I made the designs unique for you, and you're able to rock them like that. So this collection is I put my heart and soul into it because I did some different things. I have like a leopard and tiger print, which is my favorite. And I also have a camo blend, which I had to represent, the military or whatever. So you'll see that. So you should go check out the site and just see all the different designs. And also the 2020 collection, some of my favorite designs are still on there because I have a very simple classic look that I have with in all colors, the eight figure going down the leg or whatever. That's still my favorite natural look or whatever. So all that stuff is on sale if you want to go check that out. It's making room for the new collection, but I just kept the old stuff up there because I was like, I don't want to take it down because I think people still love this as well and they're still buying it. So
Well, for those that don't know where they can find that, go ahead and drop the web address right now so that they can head over there.
absolutely. So the website to go and shop with Eight Figured is www.eightfigured.com. You can also follow my journey on Instagram with @DeBlair Fitness, and also @Eight Figured is also on social media. So you can find us, and anywhere you click, you'll see something about Eight Figures. So if you get either of those platforms, you'll be able to locate the brand.
Now, would you say it's more women that follow the brand or more men that follow the brand?
I think it's a combination because my target audience is anyone that has a love for health and fitness, or anybody that likes to, because right now we'll walk out with some tights and leggings on and we'll be going to the store. That's just what we do. So
Yeah.
even if you like that look and comfort of wearing fitness clothes, even just like we have the Nikes, the Adidas, the Lululemon, you can rock that stuff anywhere. I had a girl send me a picture. She had on heels with my tights. I was like, okay, I haven't seen that, but I love it. So it just shows me that it's very, very diverse. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do. So the audience doesn't target any particular person because I have things for men on there as well. I have things for men, I have things for women, all sizes and everything.
I see that you are one to teach people how to let go of negativity, any type of negativity, whether that's negative self-talk that goes against learning how to love themselves and love the bodies that they're in. Are you a fan of affirmations? What is it that you utilize to help people develop self-love so that when they rock your clothing, when they're working out with you, they feel like their best self?
So it's just a journey, you have to live it to understand it, because I haven't always just been a total fan of being a positive person, but I do believe in the law of affirmation. I do believe in the law of attraction and speaking positivity into the atmosphere, turning your mindset state around. In the military, I'm a military instructor, and one of the courses that I teach is about resiliency. It's about basically no matter what you're dealing with, always bouncing back from it, negative adversities, life is going to happen. It's all about how you allow it to affect you. So that's one of the biggest things, the fallback when people have relationship issues, or when people have things that happen, a death in the family, or somebody did something to them at their job, they let it affect how they move as it relates to their health. We don't sacrifice enough into our health. That's usually the last thing that we think about. And I say we should have investment in us before anything. And it's one of the things we put on the back burner. And it's because of how we allow whatever we're dealing with get the best of us. We're down, we have negative thoughts, or even when you're speaking about just life itself, it's always like doubt. And I just try to encourage people and tell them, like, why don't you start doing it the other way? I listen to this book often called The Secret. I don't know if you've ever heard of The Secret, but I listen to it all the time. And I think about, if you're saying something is always going to be like this, oh, I'm never going to lose weight, or it's always like this, or it's just speaking negativity into the atmosphere, that's what it's going to be. If you say you're never going to lose weight, you're never going to lose weight, because that's what you're saying. So it's all about your mindset. So I just try to train people to train your mindset, not just with that, just life in general, because health and fitness, believe it or not, it's a total 360. It's about how you live socially. It's about how you live in your personal life, because all that trickles into how you take care of yourself. So that's why that is so important to me. And that's one of the basic things that I talk to my clients about before I even have a conversation about them moving forward with trying to be disciplined, because you have to get right up here first.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For people that just can't necessarily at the moment in their lives, whether it's the pandemic, whatever the case may be, they cannot afford to get a trainer. What are some small things that people can do at home in their everyday lives just to keep their health up?
Well, for one, follow me on social media, because I do a Trapping on Thursday workout every week, and it's free. So one thing about the pandemic, it opened up a door for a lot of people to basically offer workouts and even going on YouTube. But most importantly, it's about what you have in your kitchen. The food is everything. It's about what you're exposing yourself to, and it's about your discipline and what you want. You want to sit around and not do anything. Of course, you're going to get the COVID-19, and you're going to recognize it, and then you're going to be like, oh crap, I need to do something. But one of the main things is, like I said, first, always investing in yourself and knowing that you have to take care of yourself first and foremost. And if you keep yourself first, those thoughts will come in your mind when you're going to the grocery store, or when you're trying to figure out something to do to stay active, because you can get real creative at home. You know, you don't need that much. You can, if you're not creative and don't have a trainer, there's multiple YouTube channels that talks about health and fitness, that gives you like workouts at every level, and there's multiple people now on Facebook, social media, they're going live, they're offering workouts. You can even Google workouts to just kind of see what some basic things are, but it's not going to work unless you work. So it's all about how you put the effort into doing what you need to do. So the effort has to start with you.
Just listening to you, I can see why your clients probably love your program. When we hear different people create their fan bases, whether it's Beyonce and it's the Beehive, or it's Rihanna and it's the Navy. What is the Blair Fitness fan base called? Do you have one?
You know what? I was trying to think of something, and I don't have it yet, because I'm kind of hood and classy at the same time. So the names that I came up with, because even with my trapping, I call it the trap house or whatever, just a play on words. And I have something, but I'm not ready to put it out yet. But yeah. So I have been thinking about that. It hasn't come to me. What do you think? Just let me know if you have some ideas.
I'm gonna brainstorm on it, and I'm gonna just shoot over some ideas, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I gotta have some, because I do have a squad, so I do need to give them their little name.
Absolutely. Because I wanted to ask you, what is the sisterhood? Is there a sisterhood that has developed through your programming? Are there a group of women that are just, kind of sticking together through this journey that they've been on with you. I know that you are also a part of a real sisterhood, Delta Sigma Theta sorority. And
Yeah.
so with the women that now follow you, have they kind of created something there?
Oh, absolutely. So most of my, like I said, most of my clients that I have, they become like, we become close. So I said, all my clients still reach out to me, the ones that I've had over the years, even with what I've been doing currently, my 6 week fitness challenge, I have groups. So the way it is, it's like a private group of women that I put together in a private group meet, and we go through the journey together the whole 6 weeks. They learn the good, the bad, the ugly about them. And you basically just kind of like be vulnerable with the people about your struggles. And they develop that bond together. So even after the challenge, I have groups that's been still active. And I look every single morning at my groups, and everybody's still dropping pictures. They're still sharing stories, and they become a family. If they're in the same area, they start working out together. And it's just that bond and a new lifestyle that they develop. So I created that way to just give them a platform to not only just work out for that moment, but once you get with a group of people that's doing the same thing you're doing and you join in with them, it becomes that bond and that sisterhood or whatever that you need. So, and you funny that you mentioned Delta. It's like, I guess I built that foundation on that because the likelihood of us getting together, doing the same thing, having that same bond or whatever, and just having so many people support you and feel where you're coming from and going through some of the things that you're going through without judgment, that's a good feeling. And that's one thing that can help people stay on that path that they want to be on to be successful and healthy.
For sure. After 15 years in the game, almost 15 years in the game, Blair, what do you think has been the greatest lesson that you've learned thus far?
The greatest lesson, that's a good question. The greatest lesson I learned is that life is going to throw all type of obstacles at you, and it's about how you handle those things. Because even though I coach people and I tell them, hey, you got to put yourself first or whatever, like your health is going to be your health. Like some things we can't control in our lives as far as that. You just have to do the best you can. Because I have people telling me, hey, I can eat healthy and be the best I can and I can get ran over by a train. Yeah, you can, but at the end of the day, why do you have insurance on your car if you feel like you don't need it or whatever? It's the same thing with our body. We have to pour into it. So one of the biggest lessons is just like eating right, taking care of myself, listening to my body, knowing how it feels, knowing how to be able to relate to people, to let them know that the struggles that you're going through, you have to show them that you're human too, that I go through the same things and I'm able to kind of relate to them on that level. Just being vulnerable and able to just kind of like not be so private with so much, because your stories could affect somebody else. So just being able to share that. So I would probably say that would be like one of the biggest lessons, just, opening up and just sharing more and being able to just be a testimony for somebody else and help them.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. A specific type of person whose journey is often I could take covered, or they may not like to be as much as out in the open about it, are celebrities. Oftentimes, they won't share too much about their training journey, just for different reasons. People judging
Right.
and different things. When you have the opportunity to work with celebrities, what do you notice that they need help with the most, and that you kind of focus on to help them get to their, whether it's their goal weight or just their goal body or their health desire?
Well, everybody is different. And for them, the celebrities, it's almost like they're out there in the forefront. So it's an image that they have to uphold. So it's almost like they're always being judged and looked at or whatever. If you're that person that used to be a certain way 2 years ago and now you've gained all the weight, maybe COVID happened for you and people caught you on a picture or whatever, and now they're judging you. It's almost like they have to really kind of like tune out what everybody is saying and kind of do what they need to do for them. But one of the biggest things is like you're putting yourself in front of the camera. You're a celebrity, so you're going to be judged. And it's just all about how you want to deal with that. You want to present the best possible body you can for yourself. So for them, probably it's that mental thing, saying, okay, I got to look good because I don't want, these people on the block saying this about me, or I don't have time for this. Because regardless, I don't care who you are, that stuff affects you. When people are being ugly and, judging you and you could have gone through a surgery behind the scenes and nobody knew about it, that caused you to kind of be down for a couple of months. And now somebody caught you in a picture and now you're being blamed or judged for like not taking care of yourself or something like that. So that is some of the main things that I've seen with them, just basically trying to uphold that image that is socially accepted.
How do you feel about the culture of body shaming right now when it does come to women that rather get surgery or women that rather work out? When you see these debates online and things like that, what goes through your mind? Like, how do you feel about it?
So I feel body shaming is something that is if it affects the wrong person, it could be detrimental to their life, because a lot of people take that to heart. And I've seen some people take their lives as a result of not being accepted, or whatever the case may be. In the military, it's no different as well. We've seen suicides all the time. So no type of shaming is okay. You know what I mean? So that's why I really, really try to pour into self-love, self-acceptance, having that resiliency, having that thick skin, because you can't control what people say. You can't control how society or social media says your body needs to look, or people going out getting the surgery to get the bodies that they desire. And hey, to each his own. But at the end of the day, you can't really just take a person that doesn't have the surgery or decide not to do that or whatever and just kind of judge them. So it's something that I don't agree with. I'm all about uplifting people. I'm all about basically not just looking at, your stomach or whoever and saying like you need to do something. That's your own personal preference, and that's some internal things we don't know if people are struggling with. We don't know what their journey is. We don't know what their story is. So for us to kind of just put it out there and be so judgmental is definitely something we as a society has to work on.
Mhm. A couple years ago, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the body shapers or waist trainers. Do you think that that is an effective way for women to lose weight in their midsection? Or do you think that's an unhealthy way and women should stop utilizing this support system?
It depends on how you use it, because there are some way. I'm not a fan of the ones that I knew somebody personally that had one and it was too tight on the body and it started to affect the organs, because you were basically squeezing the organs because you had it too tight on your body. There is a proper way to utilize them, and I just never encourage my clients to do that. The only thing I encourage them to do is, you have I think it's the sweatbands that with the Velcro that you can wear while you're working out. Some people still rock the waist trainers, and people that were selling them made a whole lot of money doing it, you know. So, because it was a thing back in the days. I don't know if you remember back in the medieval times where the women, they wore those things and it turned their waist a certain type of way. But that wasn't healthy for your body at all, because it did something internally. And I had a client that's a doctor, and he kind of talked to me about some of the things that it affected. Although, yes, you may see a shape for that moment or whatever, but it's hurting you on the inside if you're basically doing it the wrong way. So I was just more a fan of doing it the right way. Anything that could be detrimental, I never encouraged that. I didn't deter them from doing it, but I just educated them on what would happen if they did it the wrong way.
When women come to you, or men, hey, why not? When they come to you to work on their bodies, would you say that the lower half, the butt, the booty, is the part that they want to work on the most? Or are there other sections that you find that people are like, I really want to look better in my arms or something?
Everybody is different, but all the women want a nice little smooth stomach. We want the midsection gone. We
Uh-huh.
do. And we want a nice butt, and we want some nice legs.
Right.
That's just the thing. Like you can tone up. Some people, if you have an issue with your arm, if you're heavier up top, you might say, hey, I don't want the jiggle or whatever. You want to work on that. But the butt and the core, the midsection is always the primary for pretty much everybody, because your midsection basically shapes your body in a sense.
Hmm.
So that is something that people always want to get down, and you feel better, you look better, and when you look better in your clothes, you feel better or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, saying, hey, I need to get rid of that, if you know that's something that shouldn't be there. So that's definitely what I would say, the midsection first and foremost, and then more so today, the butt, because everybody put an emphasis on having a nice, big butt or whatever that for whatever reason people can, look at. You just want to look good in your clothes, I think. So
Yeah. For our viewers that are watching, just to wrap us, Blair, and they're, a little apprehensive about getting in the gym, or they're a little apprehensive about turning on their YouTube channel that you told them to watch. What's some advice to really encourage people to really start taking care of their health? Because, I mean, we had a great time talking and laughing, and you brought out so many great points, but I really want to drive home that part about nutrition and fitness, because you're so right. It's such an important topic. So leave them with some encouragement that they can take in for the rest of the fourth quarter of the year.
right, absolutely. So you want to take care of your body before it tells you. Because at some point, if you keep neglecting your body, if you keep just doing whatever you want to do, it's eventually going to tell you that, hey, you got to take care of me. And sometimes it may be too late. So loving yourself, and I don't know anybody that doesn't love themselves and want to feel healthy or whatever the case may be. So I just encourage you to just take your most valuable asset, which is yourself, and invest more in it. Like educate yourself on what you're eating, the type of foods that you're eating. Get active, move around, because we're not always going to be young, and everything is going to be moving. You have to take care of yourself. So I just encourage people to spend more time with investing in themselves versus everything else around, because we put so much in our career, we put so much of ourselves in others, especially the moms. If you have kids, if you have a family, you're never putting yourself first. So I encourage people to just kind of take a moment and just think about putting themselves first for a moment, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not able to take care of the kids and the family and everything else, because you're going to be down looking for somebody to take care of you. So that is the advice that I would give them mentally. Just be resilient as much as possible. Like, love yourself, take care of yourself, be mindful of what you're putting in your body. That's alcohol, that's like bad foods, everything. If you don't know about it, educate yourself.
And one last time, where they can go and get your collection. We cannot forget about the
Yes, go get my stuff. Go and buy it out. Please, please, please. I thank you so much for the support. It is www.8figure.com. Support, please, support, support, support. And my Instagram is at DeBlair Fitness if you want to follow me for health and fitness tips. And also, if you just have questions, because I'm here to educate people. If you have questions about something that you are unsure about in the health and fitness world, if you need to know how to get rid of this, or if you're doing something wrong, hit me up. I'll be more than happy. I respond to all my messages at some point. So I will get back with you. So
Thank you so much, Blair. It was great having you on the show.
so much fun, India. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all of you for watching. Of course, for more news, updates, and information, you guys can always head back here every morning, weekday mornings, on Up with India at WITN 22 Will. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.